Well, good morning, good morning. Hello, everyone. It's Jennifer coming to you from Massachusetts, a cold Massachusetts. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to take a quick look and listen to make sure that audio and video are okay. Hey, Daniela's here. I see you already. Let me check the video and audio. If it's good on your end, let me know. I'm going to take a listen on my laptop. Yes, looks good. My laptop looks good. Sounds good. Glad to have you all here. I said it's cold, but I welcome you. I don't know where you're coming in from. Say hello where you're from. I'm here in Massachusetts on a very cold morning. We're bracing for cold weather. It's already below freezing. It's about, what is it? It was 21 now, but I think it's dropping. Oh, it's 13 degrees. Which in those of you who know Celsius, I think it's like -8 already. Yeah, -8 Celsius, but it's very cold. It's going to get colder this weekend. But I love the snow, so hopefully some snow will also make its way in. It's now February. And first of all, I want to welcome old and new members. If you want to join the chat, all you have to do is click that join button. If you don't see the join button, it's okay. You can still watch and learn along with us. Sometimes the membership program here on YouTube is not available in every region. I'm very sorry for that. But I make this live stream public for everyone so that we can all learn together. But if you want to join the chat, you need to click the join button, okay? And thank you to all old and new members. I thank you so much for being a member of my channel. Daniela, hello. I see you there. Glad to start this new month, she says. Yes, I'm glad to have you on Patreon as well. And you're here with me on YouTube. My Hippo, I see you there. Welcome, welcome. I know who you are. I hope everything is going well. I know people are tuning in, so whether it's evening, I sure hope your day has been going well. 13 degrees Celsius. Yes, getting cold, getting chilly. So many words for cold and chilly. I can write some down. Frigid is one. How about that? Frigid temperatures. Chilly is not as bad as frigid. Chilly is just like a little cold. Frigid is quite freezing, right? It's going to take a dip. I often hear that word. There's going to be a dip in the temperature. We're going to go down. Some of you might be in warmer climates. I envy you that nice warm sunshine. Enjoy, enjoy. By the way, I was just reading this article about February and how lots of people at the beginning of the year make those promises to themselves. Do you remember what we call those? Resolutions. If you were at the last live stream back in January, we talked about resolutions. Yes, resolutions are those promises, those decisions to do something different, do something good in our lives, right? People say, I'm going to exercise more, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to eat healthy. And then, guess what starts happening in February? According to the article that I just read, they say that in February, about 80% of people who made resolutions back in January basically stop. And they basically quit with their resolutions. They lose motivation. Yes. So if you were at the live stream, I talked about not making resolutions, but having affirmations. Let's write that word again. Affirmations. Hey, Manuel. Good to have you here. Oh, you've been on a walk too? Me too. But you know, even on a cloudy day, you can still find something to appreciate in nature, right, Manuel? So instead of resolutions, I've been promoting the idea of affirmations. It's what I've been trying to do myself. If I want to make positive changes in my life, I'm not making resolutions, these kinds of big promises. I'm just making positive statements to myself about the kind of person I want to be, right? Like, I am a good Russian student. I do my studies. I'm smart. I'm capable. I can do this. Instead of being so negative about what I'm not doing, doing or what I'm not able to do yet, those positive affirmations can help keep us on track long term. If we choose short positive statements and say them to ourselves daily, it might help keep the motivation up to continue with these new habits that we're trying to establish, like taking walks every day. You say, I enjoy nature. I love to walk. I walk because it makes me feel good. And you can say something like that so that you take more walks, right? Or what else could you say? I love to learn. I love English, and I practice a little bit every day. And little is the key word, guys. I think the 80% of people who stop with their resolutions probably were dreaming too big. Their vision was too grand, maybe not specific enough. And so to say, I will learn to write well or speak well is very vague. What's that word? Vague, right? Not specific enough. Yes, Manuel's saying in February, all the resolutions made back in January, they tend to be forgotten or we just can't keep up with them. But maybe resolutions aren't the way to go. Maybe with daily affirmations, you talk to yourself positively and you can stay on track, right? Hey, good morning, Larissa, to you. Right. So, for example, the other thing is like setting smaller goals. And I'm trying to do this myself with the way I eat. Sleep is a big challenge for me, trying to sleep well. But I study Russian, and one of the things I've been trying to do is to write more. So my little goal is just to write a few sentences each week, just a few. And sometimes a few turns into a paragraph. And last week, the few sentences turned into 3 paragraphs. And so I was like, wow, look how much I wrote. So again, if you set smaller, attainable goals and talk to yourself positively, and then you'll feel better. You'll achieve those smaller goals. Know that you've achieved one small goal. You set the next goal for the next day. And little by little, you will make progress. And you tell yourself, I am smart, I am capable, I love learning. Daily practice helps me make progress. Those kinds of statements will keep you on track. That's what I feel. So keep up with your good study habits and don't quit, right? Don't make those big grand resolutions that are so hard to keep for 365 days of the year. Make daily affirmations and small little goals that you can achieve, and you'll feel better about that. What is my good? Yes, good morning to all. Only watching the weather in Texas. You had a cold. Oh, so sorry. Yeah, lots of things are going around. People get sick with a cold or a flu. Different viruses are out there. Please stay healthy. Yes, Danielle is agreeing with me that daily affirmations help attain the small goals and help us stay on track, right? Okay. Well, guys, I'm hoping a few other members will join in. If you're watching, again, you're welcome to join the chat. Members are also going to receive a follow-up task. Usually it's a task with a few different parts, so it's a good, healthy, productive, fun task that will be based on things that we practice today together. And that follow-up task will be posted on the community tab. So if you'd like not only to join in the chat right now, but receive access to a practice task after this live stream, then please join as a member. I welcome you, okay? Oh, yes, Valentine's Day. Manuel, I was reading my mind. We're going to talk about the different holidays packed into this short month. February is full of holidays and observations. But first, let me work some magic and share my screen. And hopefully you will see what I see. Let's take a look and a listen. Make sure that audio is still going fine. We're going to talk about it. Yes. Okay, can you see what I see? I'm going to take a look at my laptop. I have some fun announcements to make. Do you remember a while back I had a guest, and I interviewed the guest, Steve Kaufman. Do you remember? The polyglot? Steve is everywhere. He speaks so many languages, and that allows him to make new friendships, new connections. So it's a wonderful demonstration of the power of languages and how it's opening up new doors for him. And he studies for the joy of learning different languages. Steve has his website, LingQ, and one way that I'm working with Steve and his website is I've decided to contribute and share some of my content. Hopefully you can see what I see. I still see that the live stream is actually lagging behind just a little bit, so I know that it's not quite in real time, so I want to make sure that you can see my screen right now. Oh, thank you, Daniela. I'm glad that you enjoyed that interview. Let me see. You might not be able to see what I see. Oh, no, let me see. I didn't work my magic quite yet. Webcam. There we go. I pressed the wrong button, silly me. Here I am waiting for the screen to turn on my laptop and wondering, why don't you see what I see? Manuel's writing about a carnival party. That sounds fun. Sounds like something that in Brazil, they have their carnival too, right? Different countries, different cultures have that sort of late winter, early spring carnival. I think that's wonderful to have that tradition. Oh, there you go. Now you can see what I see. Okay. All right, guys. So I mentioned Steve Kaufman and his website, LingQ. It's actually a really wonderful platform that you can add to your studies. What he's done is he's curated content so that you can listen and read. He's really invested a lot and emphasizes the value of exposure to a language. So he personally, in his methodology, includes a lot of initial reading and listening. So there's a great amount of exposure to the target language. So whether you're studying English or another language, you can see what he offers on LingQ. You can sign up for free and then check out what he offers. If you'd like to, you could use my referral link. It is an affiliate link, so I do benefit if you end up purchasing something. I do earn a little bit from that. But I do like the site. I like what he's offering. Otherwise, I wouldn't recommend it. So check it out and see how that might work for you. It's always good to know about different resources and how you can integrate them into your studies. What I've done recently is I've shared movie reviews that have been exclusive on Patreon. Some of them have now been shared also on LingQ, and they're a course. So they still remain exclusive. Either you can get them as part of your Patreon membership, or you can go to LingQ, and it is a paid course. It's very affordable. But if that's sounds interesting to you, you may enjoy that form of practice. There's a collection of movie reviews. There's 9 of them. One is free. And then there are audio and transcripts. So this is listening practice. You can open up the transcript and also read along. But I would suggest, for example, day 1, you listen and enjoy. Try to understand the new words. I offer notes, vocabulary notes to help you. And a second day you could review. You've now listened to it, understood it. You've read the meanings of the target words, and you can listen again without any transcript, and you'll see how your comprehension has improved by day 2. There's lots of things that you could do with once you have access to a clear audio and the transcript. You can do shadowing, for example. You could look at the vocabulary notes, and if there is a new expression, look how I use that word or expression, then try to make your own sentence with that word or expression. There's a lot you can get out of a single review. And of course, the more times you listen, the better your comprehension will be. So if that sounds interesting to you, then go over to LingQ. You can first sign up with the affiliate link and then check out the movie reviews. The first one is free. So if you like the first one, perhaps you'll be interested in the whole package, the whole course. Okay? If you have any movie review recommendations, feel free to put that in the chat. Manuel says, you don't want to be interviewed? No, interviews are fun. They make you reflect. And the more you do them, the more excited you can be about the opportunity to do them. So interviews are good. If you guys ever need to practice an interview, remember, once is not enough. People who practice for job interviews, for example, do multiple mock interviews. You need to practice and make yourself feel confident and comfortable giving answers that aren't too rehearsed, but the content should be familiar. That's the key. Okay, guys, one more exciting announcement, and then we'll launch into some exercises, I promise. But I first want to share these opportunities with you. The second one is that I am also now partnering with Amigo. Amigo is an exciting platform, and Amigo is doing some very interesting work in terms of offering live speaking opportunities. So I am going to join them and create a speaking club in March. So if you're interested in that idea, you can click, I'll put this in the video description. You can learn more just by clicking. There's no initial obligation by clicking. Just fill out the survey. We're seeing who's interested, and then we'll go from there. It's a very interesting way that they do it. They gather all the interested people and they sort out the information of what levels people are at, what interests they have. And when you go into a group, you might have this big master class, but then during the class, there are breakout rooms and you move into small groups and you can talk. So I would be leading the overall class. I could pop into the smaller groups when they're in breakout rooms, and then we come back together. So it's something new that we could try. There's been a lot of requests coming in for speaking practice, and can we have a chat? Can you talk with me on Skype, WhatsApp, etc.? This is the solution, guys. If you want speaking practice, let's do it this way. Speak with me, speak with others, right? There's always the option for one-on-one, and I do have limited availability, but I do meet one-on-one with people. But in terms of daily, not daily, but more frequent speaking practice, this is a way to go. There are other clubs run by other teachers. So perhaps by joining other clubs, you could get even more daily, no, maybe not quite daily. I don't know how often the speaking clubs are hosted, whether it's 7 days a week yet, but certainly you can join more than one speaking club and gain real live speaking practice more frequently than you are right now. So consider that. Use the form, sign up, try something new. If you feel that you're not getting enough speaking practice right now, this could be the solution for you. Okay? I'm excited to try this. Could you send further information? Well, ask me questions, guys, in the comments later, and I can answer more in detail. Members, there will be the follow-up task. You can post comments on that. But anyone who has questions either about the speaking club or link, feel free to put questions in the comments on the recording of this live stream, and I'll do my best to answer in detail. Okay? All right, that's enough for announcements. Let's get into the fun. February, as I said, is packed with holidays and celebrations. So I'm going to test your knowledge of the holidays and observances that we have in the U.S. Okay? Yes, I like what you said, Manuel. Sometimes we need to brush up. Well, brush up our brain. Just brush up. Brush up. Yes, we all need to brush up and learn. It's about reviewing and expanding, So my intention when I run that speaking club is to review expressions and words that you do know, but expand and offer new words and expressions that you can include in your speaking. Okay? All right, I have this cute little picture of the groundhog because yesterday was Groundhog Day. It's one of my favorite movies, and it's one of the movie reviews. I love Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. So, yeah, I love the holiday. I'm also from Pennsylvania, home to Punxsutawney Phil. I actually did not grow up in Punxsutawney, but in Pennsylvania, we certainly know who Punxsutawney Phil is. It's the famous groundhog who predicts the weather. So, true or false, number one, banks, stores, and other businesses close on Groundhog Day. So, Groundhog Day was yesterday here in the U.S., February 2nd. Banks, stores, and other businesses close on Groundhog Day. Is that true or false? Do you know? Does anyone agree with Manuel? I'll say, Manuel, yes, you're right. It's false. Okay, let's do that. False. False. It's not a federal holiday. It's widely observed, but the banks, stores, and businesses do not close. In fact, businesses and stores especially will probably want to capitalize on any holiday and probably sell something in some way to profit from it. So all of our holidays usually become commercial in some way. But no, it's a typical business day. Schools don't close. It's just a fun holiday that we observe on our calendar, and we tune into the news or the weather reports to find out what happened on Groundhog Day. If you were in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, you would probably attend a celebration, and maybe there school is canceled, but certainly in other parts of the country we don't close schools and businesses. Okay? No, yeah. So it's business as usual on Groundhog Day, okay? Number 2, if the groundhog doesn't see its shadow, spring will come early. If you ask Americans, well, how does the groundhog predict the weather? We kind of know, well, we know it has to do with the shadow, but we often forget. Well, if he sees it, if he doesn't see it, and then we have to Google it to remember sometimes, like, what is it? What is it again? How does that work? So if the groundhog doesn't see its shadow, spring will come early. Is that true or false? I'm seeing differing opinions, Daniela Manuel. Okay. Okay. I hope I get this right. I'm pretty sure this one is true. That's the way it works. Because yesterday, the groundhog saw its shadow, so we're going to have 6 more weeks of winter, right? So seeing the shadow is a promise of the cold winter, and not seeing the shadow means spring will come early. I hope I got that right. You can Google it and double check, but I'm pretty sure I got that one right. So if the groundhog doesn't see its shadow, spring will come early, right? And if you watch the movie, it's really cute by the end when Bill Murray's character goes to Groundhog Day again, and the groundhog sees its shadow. It's the promise of winter, but it doesn't turn out to be a bad prediction. People welcome it, right? True. Okay. All right, and let's move to Valentine's Day. Is the 14th. It's coming up. Americans send Valentines, which are the greeting cards, only to boyfriends, girlfriends, and spouses. True or false? Is it only for love and romance? What do you know? Americans send Valentines, greeting cards, only to boyfriends, girlfriends, and spouses, meaning husbands and wives. True or false? Number 3. Manuel saying true. Well, love is a complicated thing, is it not, right? There are all different kinds of love, and we use the word love so freely, like I love chocolate, I love movies, oh, I love Bill Murray. I don't even know Bill Murray, but I love his work. I appreciate his work. Love and romance. Well, traditionally, yes. But if you go into a store these days and you look in the greeting card section and you look at the Valentines, you will see they're all sorted and categorized. You can buy Valentines for your grandparents, for your mother, for your father, for your sister, for your brother, for your nieces and nephews. They have sections like this, for a friend, for whatever, for teachers. So the answer is we show appreciation, warmth, affection, and fondness on Valentine's Day. So it's something shared very broadly. In fact, I'll show you that I went to the store yesterday or the day before, and I got some Valentines for friends, and friends and family. So I always like to get a few Valentines for the people I appreciate the most, and people I feel who need a little pick-me-up. Do you know that expression? a pick-me-up, sort of makes them feel good. They'll open their mailbox and see a special card in the mailbox, and I hope that it will make them feel good to know that someone was thinking about them. So for my one cousin, for example, I got this Valentine's. It has a bear holding a heart, and it's just very simple. It says, Valentine hug for you. That's for my cousin. You all probably know. If you follow me, you know about my cousin Gina, 94-year-old cousin Gina, who I love very much. So she's going to get a Valentine's too. Let me give you a little preview. It says, Happy Valentine's Day. Wishing you every beautiful thing that this day can bring. I have yet to sign it and write more. But this gives you an idea that Valentines are for friends, family, anyone you want to express love and appreciation to. Okay, so the answer is false. School children will give Valentines to their classmates. The young children do that, and sometimes to their teachers as well. Okay. 4 heart-shaped boxes of chocolates are sold in the millions for Valentine's Day. True or false? Manuel's guest, he says, true. Even in Spain, we are a party's franchise from the American way of life. Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Halloween, etc., etc. Oh, yes, Daniela, marketing, of course. Like, why limit the audience? Why limit the buying? Let's broaden it and sell more. So, of course, there is this commercial aspect of it. But I think it's nice to take advantage of the holiday. And again, why have only one day a year? Why not have a few different occasions throughout the year to express love and appreciation? Right? I think it's a good thing. I'm not buying 100 cards. I can't afford that, but I can afford a few. Cards are not cheap, by the way. They're all like really nice cards can be like $7, $8, even $10. So they're not cheap, but usually around anywhere between, I'd say $3 and $7. That's the typical range for greeting cards, by the way. Oh yes, Daniela's agreeing. Yes. Millions. You can Google it, like just how many, but definitely millions. And here's a little secret. Okay, you could buy in advance for the people that you want to treat, but if you also just like chocolate, you can wait the day after or a few days after any of these holidays like Valentine's Day, Halloween, and the candy will be marked 50% off, 75% off. So if you also want to treat yourself to a heart-shaped box of chocolate candies and get it for like 75% off, just wait a week or so and then you can get that beautiful box of candy and treat yourself. Why not? It's self-love, right? Of course, if you have that resolution to cut down on sugar, you might spread out and not eat all the chocolates in 1 or 2 days. But, you know, you can buy a small little box and not feel guilty about the money that you spent. And then if you spread the treat out over the course of a few days or even a couple weeks, then also that's not so bad. You can treat yourself. Hey, Lena just joined. Lena, welcome. I see there's a new member here. Okay, guys, Groundhog Day, February 2nd, Valentine's Day, February 14th. Do you know we have President's Day? We do. I almost forgot when I was making this list. February 20th is President's Day. President's Day, oh goodness, technically we should make that plural, like that. Started as a celebration of George Washington's birthday. True or false? True or false? Manuel, you send a bunch, probably not a branch. A branch of flowers. Maybe a bouquet. Manuel would say a bouquet of flowers to your ex-wives. Well, if that's true, I think that's touching, that you still express some care and affection. Yes, anything heart-shaped, Daniela. Welcome, welcome. President's Day. Our first president was George Washington. Is that true or false? What is President's Day? Well, obviously connected with our U.S. presidents. So the question is, was it originally for George Washington only? A reasonable conclusion. Yeah, watch the spelling, reasonable. True. But it's since spread out to celebrate and honor all U.S. presidents, past and current. Right. So it's a day to remember and appreciate the presidents of the United States. It did start out as George Washington's birthday, though. It is a federal holiday, so I believe, yes, the school should close. I'm pretty certain about that. Schools and businesses should close on President's Day. An interesting fact. Who knows? This is like a history fact. There, in the history of our civilization, particularly in the West, we moved from one kind of calendar to another. And as I understand, this happened around George Washington's presidency, it was something like that. So it happened some time ago. We had a different calendar, and then we moved to a different calendar, and dates changed. So what I understand is that George Washington's actual birthday is something much earlier, like February 11th, maybe 10th, 11th, something like that. And then when we switched to the new calendar, they had to add like 10 days to every date. So he gained a new birthday because by moving to the new calendar, you had to adjust. The old calendar was not accurate. It did not reflect, I think, like the whole, how we revolve, around the sun, that kind of thing. So it wasn't accurate. Our trip around the sun was not reflected accurately in the old calendar. So we had to move to the new one. Mm-hmm. Does anyone know the names of those old and new calendars? We're currently on what kind of calendar? And I'll give you some hints. I think the old one had to do with Caesar, Julius Caesar, perhaps. Perhaps I'm taking a chance with my knowledge. I didn't do full research to remember. Take the word Julius and make it an adjective. And then take the name Gregory and make that an adjective. Yes, Daniela got it. Woohoo! So we moved to the Gregorian calendar, and by doing that, we had to add days to adjust for the difference. What did we move from? Julius, the adjective is Julian. Maybe someone can write that for me. Daniela, Julian, the Julian calendar with a capital J. I'm sorry, I keep hitting the microphone. How's the audio, guys? I'm testing my new mic. I think it's working well. Yes, hey, Ray's here. Gregorian. We moved to the Gregorian calendar from the Julian calendar. And that, I think that's the interesting trivia. And I'm not going to have the dates accurate, but I think his birthday was like February 11th, according to the old calendar, the Julian calendar. Then when we moved to the Gregorian calendar, they had to add days to adjust. And so that's why February 20th, we have the President's Day. Yeah. But it's like, it's always on a Monday. So anyways, President's Day is on a Monday, and it is there to celebrate all U.S. presidents, but it originally started as George Washington's birthday celebration. Yes. Thank you, guys. All right. So these are the main holidays that you will see on U.S. calendars. Groundhog Day, Valentine's Day, President's Day. There are other observances. Oh, wait. There's some fun ones that we don't all know about. Sometimes you'll buy a calendar and you're like, what? What's this? Yes, let me just go chook, 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 chook. Did you know that we have a National Umbrella Day? And I don't think the U.S. is the only country that has this. But yes, I was looking up holidays, and there's this list of all these little observations that maybe aren't so little because more and more people are starting to observe them. Some holidays we celebrate, like we celebrate Christmas, we celebrate New Year's. When you just mark that day as somehow special or significant, we use the word observe. You can observe a holiday. So February 10th is National Umbrella Day. Did you know that? So appreciate your umbrellas on February 10th, and maybe I'll come up with some umbrella-related idioms on February 10th, and I'll share them with you on social media. Oh, yes. Oh, look at that. Daniela knows her history. We adopted 1582. You adopted the Gregorian calendar 1582. I guess it took us more time to switch over here in the US. Oh, there's Earth Day too in February? Now, you think that Umbrella Day in the US would be like April because we have that saying, April showers bring May flowers. But for some reason, we celebrate it in February when we really don't need umbrellas in February, unless maybe in Hawaii, like with a parasol. But, okay, so let's get into some grammar. Okay, National Umbrella Day is February 10th. In honor of National Umbrella Day, I wrote a little text, and I would like you to find 5 mistakes with the verb forms. Okay, there we go. Make sure you can see that. I will read through it so that you can concentrate on the grammar. Look for 5 mistakes with the verb forms. Okay. Did you know that umbrellas did you know that umbrellas are around for centuries? And yet we've only had a day to celebrate these useful tools for less than 20 years. However, the holiday gains popularity. See any mistakes? Those of you watching, feel free to, do the task on your own. Write it down. What do you think the mistakes are? And I'll tell you the answers soon. If you're in the live chat, go ahead. Daniela, you are the queen of emojis and stickers. You rule. Manuel, your carnival sounds more and more exciting as you share more details. I have to look that up. I'll have to Google the carnival in February in Spain and just see how much fun you guys have. And see the fancy dresses. Maybe fancy dresses and costumes. Take a look at that. Okay, I paused for a reason. I'm waiting to see if anyone catches a mistake or two in that first paragraph. Stunning Lad 1, I see the answers coming in. Look at that, guys. Do you see this one? Did you know that umbrellas are around for centuries? For centuries. So they were there in the past and they're still here now. What does that tell you? When something started in the past and continues to now, we have a verb form. Yes, this is the present tense, but we need another form of the present tense. We need a perfect form. Yes. So have been around, right? They started and they continue to be around. Did you know that umbrellas have been around for centuries? And yet we've only had, there's your present perfect continuing there, we've only had a day to celebrate these useful tools for less than 20 years. However, the holiday gains popularity. We're only going to be correcting verb forms here. There's lots of ways to rewrite this paragraph, but let's focus on the verb forms, okay? Yes, there's lots of fun alternatives we could explore. I personally am not too fond of that form. It's present tense. Present is logical, but we could improve that. Yes, Daniela. Manuel. Stunning Lad 1, I see your answers. Okay. Think about this. The holiday gains popularity. True all the time. If it's simple present, that's true all the time. But what about something that's ongoing, something that's in progress, something that's continuing? Now you're working towards the answer. Daniela's moving towards the present progressive or the present continuous. But let's consider the form we need. Is, are, gaining. What's our subject? Holiday, singular. Oh, you could. Yes. I would first choose has been gaining, but you know what, Larissa? I agree with you. Has been gaining. I will accept that one too. We need a progressive form, that's for sure. However, the holiday is gaining popularity, has been gaining popularity. I like both. I definitely would like to see a progressive form here. Thank you, Larissa. I like that suggestion. Okay, listen on. The ancient Egyptians were likely the first to create umbrellas. The materials used back then are palm leaves and feathers. Evidence suggests that there were similar innovations in China, India, Greece, and Rome. Boy, the Egyptians, they knew what they were doing back then, huh? They're sort of smart group of people. Like they knew their math back then. They had a writing system. They created umbrellas, amazing architecture. Isn't there so much to admire? The ancient Egyptians were likely the first to create umbrellas. Did you see any mistakes? You like Larissa's suggestion too, Daniela, yes? Mm-hmm. I'll accept both. So I love that we have two variations. It shows you then there isn't always one correct answer. If you are ever doing online exercises, there are so many interactive exercises online. You could add this to your practice, by the way. If there's a topic that you want to learn, you've watched, for example, a video of mine or another teacher, you've done the practice tasks in the video and you still want more. Google that grammar topic. You'll probably find an exercise with answers. Hopefully there's also some explanations, but if you have a question, that's when you want to be a member, because then you could post that kind of question. I do answer all questions. I do try to take time to answer questions every day here on YouTube. But do the interactive exercises for extra practice. And if you have a small question about an item that you got wrong and you think it might be right, it's good to ask someone. Ask a study buddy, ask another learner, ask a teacher. Because often these computer programs might recognize only one answer. When I do interactive exercises, I sometimes do them with students. It's important that we discuss the answers and consider alternatives, because very often we find alternative answers to these short exercises online. Okay? All right. Yes, everybody, notice that we're in the past tense about the ancient Egyptians. So if we're talking about these ancient Egyptians, we need to switch this to the past. Back then, those materials were palm leaves and feathers. Evidence. Hippo, you're on the right. You're on the right track. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tricky, Manuel. Narratives, especially about history, will tend to be in the past. Now, in movie reviews, you'll often see the present tense, because we have that kind of tone where we tell stories, either book plots or movie plots, in the present tense. Historical references are kept in the past, right? You're focusing on the right piece here, my hippo, but look for subject-verb agreement. What is the subject? What is the verb? The subject is evidence. Is it countable, uncountable? Are we thinking about it sort of collectively? So it's more abstract, not one specific piece, but evidence. Okay. So we can do a couple different things here. First of all, Manuel's suggesting evidence, has suggested, possibly. Yes, possibly. I like that you're staying in the present, and you chose has, not have, because this is uncountable. Uncountable nouns in American English is generally, they are paired with singular verbs. So it suggests. Evidence suggests that there were similar innovations. Okay, so this is an alternative. Has suggested. I was thinking about the simple present. Evidence, in general, suggests that there were similar innovations in China, India, Greece, and Rome. Has suggested, possible, suggests. Daniela agrees. Okay, just watch the spelling. Okay. Today, we're having all kinds of umbrellas, from pretty paper parasols to automatic umbrellas that fold compactly into a purse or briefcase. What kind of umbrella do you own? Those parasols, again, are the really beautiful ones. Once upon a time, when I first started teaching online, I had a small group of private students, and one was in Japan, and she was so incredibly sweet. And then she asked for my address, and she wanted to send a gift. She sent a beautiful gift and also included 2 little things for my children at the time. And we still have a pretty parasol that she sent to us from Japan. It was so sweet. So I do have a parasol in the house. A pretty paper parasol. And parasols are used to shield us from the sun, whereas rain umbrellas are waterproof, right? They protect us and we don't get wet. So parasols are a type of umbrella, but serve a completely different purpose, right? More limited sun protection. Regular umbrellas, even rain umbrellas, can protect us from sun as well. But all right. Yes, do you make any umbrellas? You could. Some writers might do that. I personally don't like a comma after the word today. Today we have, yes. Why are we in the progressive? There's no need for the progressive here. We're stating just a general fact. And possessions, remember, this is not an action verb. When we talk about be, have, live, well, live is an exception, but states are generally not in the progressive. Right? Today we have all kinds of umbrellas. Do we have 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, we got all 5. Today we have all kinds of umbrellas. The exception would be, when can we use have in a progressive form? If it's a temporary state, a temporary situation. For example, I'm having some difficulty with my taxes right now and I need some help. Actually, that's not true. This year I already found my help. But people use it when they're expecting a baby. She's having a baby. She's expecting a boy. So we move into the progressive for that kind of state as well. But in general, the verb have, the verb be, we don't usually use in an ing form, in a progressive form. Okay. Daniela has a fancy umbrella. Her umbrella can protect her. Make sure you say her. My umbrella can protect me from rain and sun. Cool. All right. Remember how I said you can get so much out of any single text? We just had grammar practice. Right now, I'm going to read the text from beginning to end so that you know about 48 minutes into this live stream. If you use the recording, you can use my reading as your model and you can practice oral reading. Practice reading aloud for pronunciation and for fluency. This is similar to my oral reading fluency playlist. All right, so let me take a sip of tea and I will read the entire text. Later today, over the weekend, I encourage you to practice. Read it aloud. Let my model be the guide. Okay? You're listening to how I phrase the words, how I create thought groups, how I link the words, and you're listening to my intonation. Be careful also with word stress, with the long words like celebrate, popularity. Okay? Did you know that umbrellas have been around for centuries? And yet we've only had a day to celebrate these useful tools for less than 20 years. However, the holiday is gaining popularity. The ancient Egyptians were likely the first to create umbrellas. The materials used back then were palm leaves and feathers. Evidence suggests that there were similar innovations in China, India, Greece, and Rome. Today, we have all kinds of umbrellas, from pretty paper parasols to automatic umbrellas that fold compactly into a purse or briefcase. What kind of umbrella do you own? Okay, have fun, right? Get to the point. You don't have to go as fast as me. Your goal is to read smoothly, clearly, and with expression. Okay? All right, guys, moving right along. Guess what is also observed in February, Black History Month. Each month has a special observance. In February, I think Black History Month. I think March is, I think it's women's. There's not a Women's Day. I think it's the whole month. So they have to go to the list. We have to remind ourselves each year what each month is also dedicated to. So February is Black History Month. Notice we use black with a capital B. in this. On Patreon this month, my patrons, my Patreon members are focusing on prepositions, and I will give you a taste of that today. I have a task. Let's do this one. I'm going to do task A and scroll it down. I don't want you to jump ahead to task B yet. Task A is fill in the missing prepositions. Or are we making all kinds of umbrellas? Hey, in carnivals, don't they carry umbrellas? I think I've seen that, at least at Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Manuel, do you guys have umbrellas in your carnival celebration? That would be an interesting element if it was the same. There must be something connected to that I'm not aware of. No, for less than 20 years. We tend to do that in grammar. I know years are countable, but it sounds weird to say for fewer than 20 years. I'm perceiving the 20 years as a collective amount. This is important. I've talked about this in videos. For example, with money, you can talk about a dollar. A dollar is very little. But when I talk about $100, I don't say $100 are, but $100 is a lot for a lunch, for example. I'm perceiving that amount as one unit. So if you perceive lots of little things as one unit, one amount, one collective group, then you can use a singular verb and think about it singularly. That's why I use less rather than fewer. Okay? Yeah, Mother's Day, Women's Day, so many holidays to keep us happy and busy throughout and grateful, right, throughout the year. February is Black History Month. Let me read. You help me with 1, 2, 3, and 4. Missing prepositions, those little words like into, with, about. February, the U.S. observes Black History Month. A way to acknowledge and appreciate the role African Americans have played, the development, our nation. It's hard to read with missing words. Okay, one piece at a time. February, yes, Manuel is getting us started. Remember, with months, we say in. Be very careful. I have a video on that. Other teachers have their videos too, so you can watch multiple lessons if you really need to review that point. In, on, at, right? In February, in 2022. But on February 10th, we celebrate National Umbrella Day, for example, right? In February. The U.S. observes Black History Month. How? I'm talking about the means. It's a way. Yes, I didn't end the sentence. Let me give you some choices. Does that help? Larissa is on the ball in February. There we go. Manuel's jumping there. Whoops. I sometimes want to check on my audio. Yes, Mahippo, Manuel. Yes, yes, yes. So there are different ways to acknowledge their role, and this is one way. So we do this as a way to acknowledge. It's a means, it's a method, it's a way, as a way. In February, the U.S. observes Black History Month as a way to acknowledge and appreciate the role African Americans, which role? The role that, the role which they have played. Yes, Manuel and Stunning Lad 1. You have a role in something, right? This is all about collocations. Verbs like play a role in something, have a role in something. So with the word role, think about in. You have a part in a play, a role in a movie, played in the development, yes, Daniela and Ray, of our nation. Whoopsies. What am I doing? There we go. Okay, let's read it. In February, the U.S. observes Black History Month as a way to acknowledge and appreciate the role African Americans have played in the development of our nation. Whew, it's a long sentence, but I just wanted to create a sentence with multiple opportunities to use prepositions. I might rewrite this to make it a little bit more digestible. Also, I've said in other videos about being careful how many prepositions you do use within a sentence. But actually, if you break the sentence down, you'll see that there's more than one clause. There's at least two. So at least within a clause, you don't want to fill it with like 4 prepositions. Within a long sentence like this, 4 prepositions might appear. Just make sure they're not all in. But in any case, they are correctly used. Okay? In the development of. In the development of. Okay, another request came in from a member who said, can we please practice the art of reducing, the skill of reducing repetition. This happens in everyone's writing, native or non-native, probably happens in your own first language. When you write, you tend to use the words that are most frequently used, but also words and expressions that are familiar to you. And if it's an important piece of writing, you want to take a look, read it out loud, and see if you're using too many of the same words. It doesn't really create a rich text. So if there's too much repetition of the same word or a form of that word, like develop, development, developing, if there's too much of that, you want to try and reduce it. It will make your writing sound better and it will make it richer and stronger. Okay? So let me read it as is, and then I'll take some suggestions on how we can reduce repetition. African Americans have contributed to many fields, and those fields include music, sports, literature, politics, education, and business. Significant contributions also include the civil rights movement. More recently, contributions made in the film industry have grown, including more African Americans in title roles and more stories about the Black experience. Where did that comment about wax come from? Scraped off. But an interesting description. Do you see the words that are repeating? Okay. This is going to be the final task. So once we wind this up, or wind it down, we'll also be winding down the live stream. So if you can hang on just for a few more minutes, we'll wrap this last task up. Let's see if suggestions are coming in. Yes, fields. Fields is repeating, especially very close together. So why do we have fields here? We don't need it. And we're getting a suggestion. Either which include, you could do which include. You could even reduce that. Remember how we reduce? Reduce, we take out the relative pronoun, and then we change this to ing. Okay, if you need to review adjective clauses and how to reduce them, you can look at my playlist on adjective clauses. African Americans have contributed to many fields, including music, sports, literature, politics, education, and business. Oh, that actually happened. Yes, Ma Hippo, you are on the ball. Lovely, lovely. Boop, boop. Doot, doot. Doot, doot. It's like warning, warning. Do you see that? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's true. Manuel, you're right. Sometimes you question, do I really need this word? Right? More recently. Well, you could take it out. If, for example, this were a text and they said it has to be like 30 words or less, and you really have to start cutting, you're right. I would take out more and just use recently. But I was contrasting this with the civil rights movement versus now, 2023. There's some distance between the 1960s and the 2020s. So because of that gap in years, I was thinking not just recently, but more recently. Okay. Yes, Daniela, you could also do such as. If it's a word count issue, including is shorter than such as. But if there is no word count issue, you could use such as. Okay. Yes. In different forms, contribute, contributions. It's repeating. Oops, we have include, including 3 times. Wow. Okay. Got to do something about that. We could keep the word significant and try to lose these. Significant what? Significant. We haven't used role yet. We have roles down here. Actions, efforts. Those. Oh, yes, we can consider also yes. Recently contributions, including. Recently contributions, I see what you're saying. Yes. Yes, you could reduce that and take that more. You could take that out and use in roles. Title, maybe I should change this into like main roles. That's what I was thinking about. Not just like secondary or supporting roles, but main roles, by the way. Actions, efforts, I like that. Significant contributions also include. You really want to avoid role. Performed a significant part. They also had, okay, let's use had for now. It's not very dynamic, but they also had a significant part in the civil rights movement. That's a possibility. I'm trying not to use include, role, contribution. More recently, significant could also be key part, by the way. More recently, contributions. Oh, recent investment. Made up of. Yes. Was made. Good. All good suggestions. Recently. You know what? I like the idea if someone is suggesting was made. Larissa, you're giving me an idea of using the passive. More recently, watch this. Strides have been made. Strides are long steps, meaning not just little steps of progress, big steps. Strides have been made in the film industry. And then you can take this out. We don't want to use include anymore. How about a preposition? What preposition can go in there? More recently, strides have been made in the film industry. With more roles and more stuff. You could leave this. I'm looking for a preposition that fits in nicely here. Have grown part. I like that part. Yes, we're thinking on the same wavelength there. Anyone? Think about connections, involvement, what preposition? Oh, enhanced. Look at that word. Yes, you could even take contribute out here, use it down below, and then up here you could talk about maybe an important part, play an important part. Again, you could choose which word, contribute or contribution to take out, which one to replace. I chose to leave this first mention in and then change the rest. Oh, as well as I'm in the field. But I don't want, as well as is good. Yeah, including which one? As well as is good for an addition. I want to say it's this is a key example of the strides. I'll give you a hint. Even before I typed in my hippo, look at you. You were guessing my answer, my suggestion. Yes, Larissa. Yes, my hippo. So strides have been made in the film industry with more African Americans in main roles and more stories about the Black experience. Woohoo, that's better. African Americans have contributed to many fields, including music, sports, literature, politics, education, and business. They also had a significant part in the civil rights movement. More recently, strides have been made in the film industry with more African Americans in main roles and more stories about the Black experience. And we've reduced include or including, contribute or contributions, fields. Yes. Why with? Because with this key part, strides have been made. It's like saying, with your support, I can continue my YouTube channel. With your active participation, I can have a productive live stream. So that part enables something else to happen. So with is not just it's about connections, but it's also could be about like enabling something. Does that make sense? Okay, think about that. With your help, with your support, right? Then something becomes possible. All right, so we have one text that you could also, another second text, because the other one is the umbrella ones, right? This is the one I recommend for oral reading practice. Look over the texts. And by the way, speaking of movie recommendations, I don't think I've done the movie review yet, but I love this film. My son likes it too, Hidden Figures. If you want to appreciate not just the Black experience, but there's more to this movie. It's also women in NASA, so celebrating women's achievements and contributions. But it's just a really good story and really good acting. So I would recommend Hidden Figures from 2016. If you haven't seen it yet, find the trailer on YouTube and see if that appeals to you. It's based on a true story, a true biography. So perhaps it would appeal to you. It's a very inspiring story about courage and strength and overcoming obstacles to achieve your dreams and goals. Not just one woman, actually. The focus is on three. But in any case, I like Hidden Figures, and I recommend that. Okay. Oh, I got a super thanks and a super sticker. Thank you, stunning lad. I'm glad that you enjoyed reducing repetition. Okay. Yes, we don't want to repeat too much. The film industry is a team. Yes, film industry, made in the film. Yes, if we were to write a sentence with film industry as a subject, it's singular. The film industry is growing. The film industry is a tough thing to enter, for example. Possibly. I think that's a stylistic thing, whether writers would want to put a comma there or not. Definitely, some commas are not optional. When we're separating items in a list, we need commas. However, this one is optional. Some writers use it, some do not. In academia, I tend to see it. In journalism, I tend not to see it. Whatever pattern you choose, make sure you're consistent. Okay? Alrighty, let's wind down. I always invite Q&A. I didn't get many questions. I did get the request for repetition this time. We will have our next live stream in March, okay? So feel free to get your questions and requests ready, you members, and post them in advance. I will do my best to address them through answers and tasks at the next live stream. If you want to do the follow-up task on the community tab later today or on the weekend, click join and you'll become a member. You will get access to that post, okay, which I will do later today. I also want to say thank you because I did get a new kind-hearted patron on Patreon. I have a number of kind-hearted patrons who pledge $2 a month to support me and my work, and I greatly appreciate that. Thomas is new. He's pledged $2 a month for a year. So Thomas, thank you for your support. So thank you, everyone. Let me go back to the announcements and remind you that there are wonderful opportunities, not just through the YouTube membership program. I now have a small little course on LingQ. So you first want to sign up on LingQ. It's free to sign up. There's some free materials. Check out what Steve Kaufman and his team offer on LingQ. And then I do have a short little course with movie reviews. If you're on Patreon, you already have access to these, but what I'm sharing on LingQ is also a paid course, very affordable. But it's a collection of 9 reviews, audio, and transcripts with vocabulary notes, okay? And if you're looking for speaking practice, please consider the Speaking Club, which is coming in March 2023. I am joining up with Imigo, and this is the forum. I'll put it in the video description as well. And you can sign up, express your interest, and we'll go from there. All levels are welcome. When we break down into small groups, you will be paired with people at your level. So if you're like B2, you'll be paired with B2. If you're C1, you'll be paired with C1. If you don't know what I'm talking about with those letters and numbers, go to the forum and you'll find out. There's a way to determine your language level, and then we'll match you up. But again, it's a whole group experience with then breakout rooms. If you're looking for an opportunity to gain speaking practice, this might be the answer for you. Okay, so give it a try. All right, guys, let's wind this down. I'm going to thank everyone for being here. I'll make sure my audio is still good at the end. Oops, I didn't put it in the right. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Lots going on in 2023. We're just getting started. Okay. Hopefully everything was good with audio and video today. I thank you so much for being a part of the live stream today. If you're watching the recording, thank you for taking time to catch up. Again, you can click join, become a member, and access the follow-up task, which I will be creating very soon for members. All right, everyone, I wish you a wonderful morning, day, or evening, and have a beautiful, safe weekend ahead. And I hope to study with you more in some ways. We'll be back here again in March. I have at least one new video coming up that I'm planning. It should be an exciting one, a full-length video, not a short, here on YouTube. So check that out when I post it. Probably I'll need about another week to make it, but I'm going to have some very interesting contributions that should make it very unique. So I'm really looking forward to the next YouTube lesson. Okay? All right, everybody, take care, take care. Oh, I love that one, Manuel, Scent of the Woman. I love the dance in that one. And Al Pacino, I love his speech, by the way. Oh, very good performance from Al Pacino. Thank you for throwing that in. Okay. Glad you enjoyed the practice, everyone. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.